Welcome back to the Axe Life podcast. I'm your host, Dillon. With me is Vinnie.
I'm Vinnie.
Got Aaron back there producing.
Yo.
Let's jump right into it. We're at the tail end of getting there, fall season. Last dash for points. How do you think our season's going here locally?
Our season is going fine locally. How's my season going? I mean, that's a different story. Yeah, we're in week 6. I think most people are around week 6. We're a Tuesday league, so we're going to be taking Halloween off because a lot of people have kids. And so we're going to be back a week, and then we'll be back 2 weeks from now. So we'll get a look at what the standings are towards the end of the season. And I'm seeing a lot more marathon league opportunities coming out there than ever before. I mean, people are scrambling for points and trying to get, well, I suppose that world bid.
Yeah, it's the last opportunity. I've noticed a lot of people have tournaments with it. Like next weekend, there's at least one Tier 3 tournament in just about every region.
That's true.
So everybody's scrambling to fit their last bid in before the deadline, which I believe is November 19th.
I think
the
you're
final
right.
day. And then from there, it's just kind of seeing what Tyler has as far as where he thinks people are fitting in based on circuit
I think
points and
everybody's
everything.
looking at those projections and getting excited about those. And I'm excited. I'm on that list. I think that what I'm thinking is
Must be nice.
with the trickle down, right, for the world projection. My score last season would have gotten me there easily, but that got me my first and only pro bid. So now that I'm a pro, then now I'm eligible for that pro bid for the league, and I threw a 57.32. I think that's going to be real close. So I'm actually keeping my eyes on everybody's schedules to find out where these marathon leagues are. I would feel a lot better if I threw, in like a 58 even or higher.
Yeah, the standings do tend to change right there at the end. I mean, we've been to enough marathon leagues where, somebody catches fire and all of a sudden they jump 50 spots in the circuit points.
Just like that. So, it's amazing that happens. Yep. So I think the cutoff for Worlds is probably going to be right around 50, high 56 or 57, depending on if people just start throwing their face off towards the end of the year, like usually what happens.
As far as the pro bid goes?
For the pro bid, yeah.
I know Aaron and I are kind of chasing those last, I guess they're technically amateur bids for the Atlantic
regional
region.
bids.
I mean,
whatever.
Everybody's kind of gonna, just like with you, how you were saying, you're gonna potentially get a pro bid. So now that's gonna push you up. It's gonna push somebody into the overall circuit point standing. I think there's gonna be a lot of shuffling. So
another thing that's pretty cool though is Pro-Am is coming up, and I do have an opportunity to throw in Pro-Am, but as an AM, because the Pro-Am was for winter and spring, and that was the cutoff. I had never made pro yet, so I've got an AM bid. But if I were able to get a pro bid, then at least an amateur that was in that amateur tournament gets my bid, because that'll trickle down too. So hopefully, we can make some people happy doing that too.
We can hope.
Otherwise, it's going to be throwing qualifiers in December. So.
Yep. So you got qualifiers in December. You've got, the wrap up of tournament circuit points mixed with your league. That might get it for you. You got the Pro-Am shot at it. That might get you it. So it's real tight. It's anybody's game. And I'm excited to see how it all plays out. Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Well, I have some exciting news. I was out of town last week. I got to go to a business entrepreneur networking thing in Las Vegas. It was a great time. I got to talk to a lot of people that have never heard of the sport of axe throwing in depth from somebody that just won't shut up about it. I'm like one of those CrossFit guys, but in the form of axe throwing. And but while I was out in Vegas, I was like, hey man, Vegas does everything flashy. Vegas does everything big. So whatever axe throwing venue out here has got to have all the dinghies and bells and whistles and stuff like that. So I popped into one, and I think it's a good kind of new segment for the Axe Life podcast. We'll do a venue highlight now and again whenever we run across an axe throwing venue that's notable or kind of fun or something like that. This place was hopping. It was really busy. So there's I recorded this highlight with just my cell phone, but there was a couple key things inside this venue that I wanted. I never got to play with the system that they use, which is called Powered by RKD. And they did a glow throw sort of venue. It was unaffiliated, but it was really well done. And so I just kind of want to, we put together a venue highlight, and I'd love to share it with everybody right now.
Yeah.
All right, let's check it out.
We're doing a venue highlight on this venue, which is called Dueling Axes Las Vegas. It's located right in Area 15, which seems to be kind of a mall with very interesting and kind of crazy different events, such as the Owl Wolf, and there's a soda shop, candy shop, and that's where Dueling Axes is located. This venue has a really great aesthetic to it. It's got that the overhead lighting is kind of like the Edison bulb feel, leather, wood, that sort of feel to it. And I'm going to show you a couple key features about the different systems that they have in this venue. Come follow me. All right, so if you notice, they're going with a glow throw feel with their target system, and you'll notice that they've got their booking and scoring system is a system called Powered by RKD. This is really cool because it shows you your running score up top, also allows you to input it in the tablet. This is your booking system, your waiver system, and it's really easy to get the game started, explains the games to you, even email your scores to you and keep you re-engaged in the sport of axe throwing. It's a very cool system, and this is the first venue I've been to that I've been able to play with it. We're at Dueling Axes, and this is my coach, Amy. And so she carried us through this whole process of how to work their system here. You want to tell us about your system, your interactive axe throwing system?
So we use RKD. RKD is great. There's tons of interactive games on there. You go from tic-tac-toe to bucket list to around the world, just like basketball. The instruction is very easy, clean and clear to use. The whole system is amazing. I love it.
I had a great time playing tic-tac-toe because it randomizes what numbers you have to hit in order to. And Ellen gave me. Ellen won. She beat me in tic-tac-toe. So yeah. How do you enjoy being an action coach?
I love it. I've been here for just about 2 years now. I enjoy every second of it. Coming to work and enjoying what you do makes everything go by so much better.
And how many dueling axes exist around the country?
There are 3 right now. We have our current location in Las Vegas, and then we have 2 in Columbus. So one is in the Hamilton quarter, and one is in downtown.
Well, I'll tell you something. I had a good time. I love the way this venue looks. It's got the awesome aesthetic with the mix between the wood, the leather, the Edison lighting. You guys have awesome music playlists, which keeps everything elevated. And I had a great time. So thank you so much for taking us through our axe throwing.
Anytime, we're always here 7 days a week. Come on in.
All right,
I'd tell you more about that that venue, but what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So.
I mean, it seems like a terrific venue, and I mean, it's great. Yeah, we're gonna try to be doing more of these segments. I know people are always, especially axe throwers, when they're traveling, they're always looking for a venue to maybe pop in, get a few practice throws in.
Well, here's
like
the thing, you know, we're like I said with the CrossFit comment earlier, we're kind of like axe throwing snobs too. So you're looking for an affiliate venue that's going to have the exact target that you want to throw on and stuff like that. And you're going to question what kind of wood that they have. But let me tell you something, man. Axe throwing's fun. It's like pizza, you know, even when it's bad, it's still good. But that wasn't the case in Dueling Axes, and I got to play a whole bunch of different games that I had never gotten to play before, and I was real happy that I went in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you travel, because I'm sure some people might have this question, how do you travel with your axes? Because I like on a plane, like I haven't had to do that. Is there anything special you have to do with that, or?
You got to put them in your carry-on.
Okay.
Some people put a note for TSA letting them know that they're a professional axe thrower or they're going to some tournament. I don't know. I didn't have a problem. I got them there, got them back every tournament I've ever gone to. I just put them in my carry-on. Obviously, I'm not going to... not carry-on.
No.
I mean, not carry-on. My check bag.
TSA's like, bag check.
Yeah, TSA's. So I haven't had a problem. The only problem that I had with security with the axes was getting into the venue because it was a part of a larger attraction there. Right. And they had security. And the security looked at me and said, there's no way you're bringing those in here. And I was like, but I'm going to the axe throwing place. And they're like, yeah, no. The axe throwing place was very cool, and they knew we were going to film. And, you know, they facilitated us getting in there. So that was very great of them. So
glad you got to enjoy your trip to Vegas. I would have loved to have gone. You know, my birthday's coming up. Maybe you could spot me a trip to Vegas. You know, well, maybe I could check it out.
Heck, I think this facility, almost everybody's birthday is in November. And you know who I think is going to get a lot of views in November is axelifegear.com.
Yeah.
Have you ever been there?
You
went there.
I went there. You know, I might have snuck a birthday gift for you on there.
Well, grab some of this stuff that way. I mean, they've got everything.
Nice fancy cup. You know, if you like to drink coffee, it's getting cold. Wintertime.
Yeah.
Check
you
it
can
out.
Put hot cocoa in there.
Yeah, I mean, you could put hot cocoa. I like to drink a little Irish coffee, if you know what I mean.
Maybe some like apple cider.
I'm going to keep an eye out on that. Irish coffee, yeah. But if you visit axelifegear.com, go to their shop. They have everything from koozies to tumblers, t-shirts, hats, and great gifts for the axe thrower in your life. So... axelifegear.com.
axelifegear.com.
And we very much thank them for sponsoring our podcast.
Yes, we do.
But I'm super excited about what's coming up next.
Yeah, we got Jason Kearney is going to be joining us here. He's the owner of Got Wood, and he is the proprietor of the Angry Wood tournament. And what was this past one?
Just happened.
Just happened. What number was it? Was it?
Well, let's get him on and find out.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, are you there?
I am. How's it going, guys?
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
What number?
Thanks for having me on.
What number is this for you now for Angry Wood?
That was Angry Wood 5, happened last weekend.
Nice.
So the 5th one, and it was awesome.
Well, how many people did you have there?
I haven't seen the actual full breakdown of numbers for unique throwers, but I know we had around 170 in hatchet. I want to say over 100 in big axe, around 70 something, mid 70s on knife throwing, and 65 plus duels teams.
Wow, that's a turnout right there.
Yeah, and numbers were down actually, about 25% over last year. We had, I think last year in hatchet we had over 200 in hatchet.
You guys have been called the largest axe throwing tournament that's on the planet, basically, right? Is that correct?
Yes. Well, at least by WATL, we won their largest tournament in the world at 21 World's Banquet for hatchet. And then last year at the banquet, we got the world's largest knife throwing award from WKTL as well. So,
what do you think the draw is when it comes to Angry Wood? Why do people want to be a part of this tournament?
Obviously, I'm a little biased. It's
That's
pretty,
what I want.
It's pretty fun, but it's a unique tournament format, being outdoors. We moved it outdoors in 2020 because of COVID and social distancing concerns, and it just kind of clicked. And I think it provides a unique experience, and it kind of resonates with a lot of people that practice outside. You know, they have their own target at their house or whatnot, and it just kind of resonates. It's been called the Woodstock of axe throwing because it has a very festival type feel, and you know, being unsanctioned for the last couple of years, at least in the WATL portion, you know, it's given it a little looser feel. You know, we do self-scoring, obviously, being outdoors, the fault lines on grass are not, you know, quite as strictly enforced. You know, we still do obviously foot faults and whatnot, but there's a little margin for error because grass moves, you know, when a foot's planted on it. So it just has a totally different feel, a vibe. It's definitely a lot more community based, and you know, people bring pop-up tents and lounge chairs and coolers and just kind of plant themselves there for 4 days. The setting that we're in, have either of you guys ever been to one of the Angry Woods?
I haven't.
Not yet, no.
So the setting we're in, they actually have an open air amphitheater with a stage. They do concerts and stuff, and it has lighting on it. So we're able to set up the final stage on an actual stage in an amphitheater type setting with the Arkansas River in the background. And it's just kind of a cool setting for those that make it to the finals. You know, it's a little different than, you know, in 2020 when we did it, you know, Worlds was still being held in venues, so finals were on just a designated lane within a venue. So it gave it a different feel, a different vibe. It felt a little more, you know, official, being on the finals, a stage. And, you know, now they refer it as, you know, if they make the cut in the tournament, as making it to the stage. They made it to the stage, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, but what makes the wood so angry? Why is it angry?
So the original Angry Wood tournament in 2019 was a collaboration between Got Wood, my venue, and another venue in Tulsa that was called Angry Axe. And it was then owned by a guy named Chance Hawkins. And we had actually started our first venues in Tulsa around the same time. We didn't know about each other when we were starting, and learned about each other. And then I've kind of always taught and preached collaboration over competition, because if I can elevate the sport even through someone else's venue, it's better for me overall. So we kind of became friends and collaborators. So we wanted to host a larger scale tournament in 2019. And the way for us to do that was to do a split tournament between venues. And that's where the name Angry Wood came from, the Angry Axe and Got Wood collaboration. And at that time, we actually had, I think we had 99 official hatchet throwers. Big axe wasn't a discipline in Waddle then. And then we did duels as well as a trick shot competition. And it, you know, it turned out to be, at that time, for the World Axe Throwing League, one of the biggest tournaments to date, with an $11,000 prize pool, you know, back in 2019. And John Bradley ended up winning hatchet and won $7,500, which was, you know, 50% more than the world champion had earned, you know, 9 months prior in Worlds 2018. So just trying to push the envelope, and you know, that's where our whole philosophy of Angry Wood kind of came about, is, you know, pushing the envelope to kind of propel the sport forward, doing things that haven't been done before is kind of the model we try to live within, but
And
yeah, that's what makes the wood so angry.
Oh,
and those prize pools have kind of like increased each year, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
They actually did. Our first year was 11,000. In 2020, the first outdoor angry wood, we had a $25,000 prize pool. Mike Philibom won hatchet, took home a grand prize of 10 grand.
Jeez.
nice.
21 and 22, we had a $35,000 prize pool, and we actually had to bump it back down this year to 25,000 due to just lower signups and
Right.
and the overall economy and blah blah blah, all the stuff you're hearing from other venue owners. It kind of affected us, and then we did a kind of a redistribution of the $25,000 prize pool, which is still quite large, but we broke it down differently. We kind of let Tyler Flynn use his new calculator, and I think we paid down 16 in hatchet, 8 in all the other disciplines, and we kind of tried to distribute it further down rather than having the main prize so large, which I'm kind of conflicted on. I know sports like golf, they all make money. Obviously, the better you do, the more you make. But I've always kind of had that mentality of, if you want more, throw better. And I was fully prepared to, back in 2020, do just a first, second, third. If you made the podium, you get money. Otherwise, throw better. And that wasn't the the general consensus. So we kind of caved. I think in 2020 we paid down to 12 in each discipline. But it's always a learning process, right? Every time we do one, every time we do a tournament in general, you try to learn something and move forward and not make the same mistakes twice, which I think we've been pretty good at.
Well, what's the pucker factor when, as the tournament hosts, with something that you can't control, such as the weather? Like, are you doing like an anti-rain dance? What's happening?
100%. Starting about a month out, I whatever you want to call it, putting the vibes out, doing my rain dance, praying to the higher powers, whatever it takes. I would sacrifice chocolate bunnies, whatever it took to get the weather to stay nice. 2021, we actually had to cancel Sunday Duels Day because of severe weather threats, and it was a painful decision. And I think ultimately ended up kind of costing us our circuit points, in quote, just because it wasn't elevated to a certain standard, blah blah blah. But it was unfortunate. We made the best of it. We had a huge party at one of my venues, and people still had fun. We offered refunds for the duels portion for anybody that wanted them. Some people took it, some people didn't. But again, trying to learn from those mistakes going forward. For the last, 2022 and then this year's, our contingency plan was I closed my local venues to the public for that weekend and held them as a contingency. So if we had to stop or delay for bad weather, we could always move the tournament to my 2 local venues. And it wouldn't have been ideal, but at least it would have allowed us to continue the tournament. Fortunately, we didn't have to. The weather was different this year for sure than what we were accustomed to the last 4 Angry Woods. It's been 90 plus degrees here in Oklahoma in October. This year it definitely was not. It was highs in the 60s and low 70s, cloud cover, and a little bit of wind.
Chilly wood.
Definitely chilly wood.
Yeah, it makes the wood smaller.
Shrinkage.
Yeah.
But just seeing people throwing in hoodies and sitting down with blankets was definitely different from the past Angry Woods. You know, we had a couple of guys brought inflatable pools last year, and they were chilling in their pools when they weren't throwing, and used to people walking around in tank tops and shorts, and there wasn't much of that going on this year.
So tell us who won.
So, man, you can put me on the spot.
Oh.
I believe Tyler Flynn won knives on Thursday, I'm pretty sure. Is that right? Yeah, I believe Tyler won knives. And oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember who won Big X. Might have been Lucas. Lucas won Big X. Does that sound right?
Well, it always sounds right when you say Lucas won Big X. So
yeah. And Colby Dean ended up winning hatchet in an awesome match with John Bradley, who was the first Angry Wood champion. So that was cool to see him back in the finals. And in true Angry Wood fashion, it came down to a kill shot, and Colby ended up taking hatchet. And then we had Colby again on the final stage on Sunday with Michael Theodoro taking duels. So,
wow.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, Colby had a good weekend.
Yeah, he did.
Now that you describe it as kind of like a Angry Woodstock, man, it makes me want to. I'm going to be visiting Oklahoma next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's I always say in the moment every year that I'm not going to do it again because it's an insane amount of stress in a short period of time. But then I kind of liken it to childbirth. Obviously, I've never gone through that, but having
it's a bold
being
statement,
a father,
Jason.
I've been around it, but it's painful in the moment, but then you have such fond memories of it, and then you decide to do it again. So it's similar.
I think you saved that comment pretty well. Good job, man. Good job.
But no, it's kind of become its own little thing, being kind of unique on the circuit, and such a big tournament that people look forward to coming to. And really, the prize pools are big. Especially 2-3 years ago, they were bigger than most people had seen within Waddle anyway. But what keeps most people coming back, I think, is just the community and the vibe and the overall fun, because it is so different and so unique than all the other tournaments out there. So we'll definitely keep going as long as people keep coming.
Love it. Since we have Jason is a venue owner, and so we're going to move on to thank you for talking about the tournament. He's going to stick around and give his input on this next segment, which we call the comment section. All right, I think we have a stinger. We got to do the song. We got to do the comment section. There it is.
There it is.
The comment section.
Perfect time for Halloween.
All right, so today's comment section, it actually comes out of an axe throwing owners group instead of so this might be some hidden information from throwers, and this is what owners are talking about. And I think, Aaron, do you have it up on the screen? Basically, I don't expect you to read all of that, but the gist of it is there is a venue owner that owns 3 locations. They've been an affiliate of Waddle for since the beginning, and they're talking about the cost of running their operation, everything from lumber to rent and personnel and stuff like that. And then it must be that they're looking at each of their line items and saying, okay, what's the return on investment for being a WATL affiliate? And that basically, I think what they're doing is asking for a reminder of why they started this thing. And I thought that there were a couple of interesting points that were made up in the comments section. People are just saying, how are you going to run a league without them? Do you think it's possible to run a league without Waddle, Dillon?
I think you'll get people for beer leagues and things like that. But I do think there is a portion of your customers who are wanting to be affiliated with some type of professional league,
Like sanctioning body.
Sanctioning body.
Yeah.
So,
But the argument would be that's a very small percentage of the people that walk through your venue door.
I mean, yes and no. I think by having just by having the leagues that we've had a handful of our throwers go and compete at tournaments and have come and done marathon leagues, and usually those are the type of throwers that, just like how you were saying, it's a small percentage, but the more you run a run league, essentially you'll get more people that are like, hey, I'm really interested in this, I'd like to get a little more competitive. You kind of build that client base and bringing them into the league and bringing them into WATL and saying, hey, like, this is how they do it. If you want to, try to be a professional, you gotta throw in these standards.
Yeah, people also added that there are other options, like you can run a rec league, you could run a beer league, and they even listed a couple of options of, I guess it's kind of daunting to think about, a scoring app or a tournament engine and all Excel spreadsheets and keeping stats on your own. And I mean, I would say that it's worth, the price of entry, if you will. So yeah, they threw out RKD, which we already talked about in the venue highlight, Score Holio. They've got an axe throwing tournament engine built in, and you're just adding the scores up. And I checked out their app. I'm interested to see what they do in the future. And then, people are like, $100 a month, please remind me of my benefits. And people throw out, oh, you get discounts on your insurance. And it's like, okay. Merchandise, you have access to 35% off of merchandise of the venue owner. All these are nice little perks. And as a venue owner, I'm going to tell you this. If you can't figure out, so I got a cheap price. I've been a part of WATL since 2017, so I'm grandfathered back to like $50 a month. And then every time we run a league or a tournament, you pay Yo Referee, the software, for each of those people. All right, so let's just say, but the average venue owner, single location, is in to the organization for, say, $200 a month. If your league, which I know most people are charging about $125, some people more for their leagues. You're selling merchandise, you're running tournaments, you're running marathon leagues, and each of those are prime opportunities for garnering sponsorships, especially for tournaments. If you can't figure out how to recoup and even profit on your $200 investment with your competitive throwers, then call some venue owners that know how to do it, because it can be done. You could turn this affiliation or any affiliation profitable, and that's my take on it. Now, can it be done better? Can there be more value provided to a venue owner from the league? Absolutely, I think so. I want to include Jason in on this conversation. So you've heard the walk up to it. What do you think? You're a venue owner. Do you see that there is a return on investment from being affiliated with a sanctioning body like Waddle?
That's kind of a loaded question.
Of course.
Do I see the benefit of league? Absolutely. But I've always maintained the benefit of the league are your league members.
Of course.
They become a community, almost like family. They also become, for you, marketing agents and ambassadors for not only your venue, but the sport, because they're talking about it at work, around the water cooler, to their friends and family, because they have a positive experience. So that's the real ROI to me on league. And like you said, if you can't make minimal amount of money on league, I don't know what to tell you. But I will say leagues for us are not a big revenue producer, but I always measure the ROI from league being the benefits of having those league members. And yes, while they're there, they do, they pay their league fees. They buy beverages and snacks while they're there, all that kind of stuff. But the real benefit is the community, the family. I mean, I've created lasting friendships with league members that simply came in to throw hatchets, and through their love of the sport and doing that, we've developed relationships. I've heard stories from people that we've saved lives, literal lives, by giving them something positive and fun to look forward to, a community, a place they fit in. So those kind of things are the ROI for me.
Now,
But if
do you
you're
think
asking,
can you do that without paying somebody else, an organization, $200 a month? I would say that anybody with a computer would say yes, but
absolutely.
they did package it up with a rule set that everybody could get behind, an app that feeds into a leaderboard, most of the time, and it kind of standardized the sport.
Sure. No. And I would say for a select few that is important to them, but it's really such a small percentage for us. We've sent players to worlds since we've been, like much like you. I've been a Waddle affiliate since 2017. My first ever tournament outside of my own venue, league tournaments, was Worlds of 2018, and a guy that was working for me at the time, who kind of became famous in axe throwing, Miguel Tamburini. He was working for me at that time and convinced me to go to Worlds. I had my bid. He hadn't been doing it long enough. He didn't even have a bid. He went and threw in, they used to do wild card tournaments before the actual tournament, and you could play your way in. They did that at 2018 and 2019 Worlds. So him talking me into going to Worlds in 2018, it kind of opened my eyes to the benefit of a big and organized league for a select few of my throwers. But on the same token, I've got guys in our Tuesday league. We call it Drunk Dad Tuesday. And it's just a group of guys that have literally been around since my first league, which was the winter season of 2018. Was our first official league, and I've got guys that signed up then, and they've been in every league since, and they don't give a crap about circuit points or where they are on the leaderboard, or even really getting better at axe throwing. They come to have fun, to give each other shit, and to enjoy the company while doing something that's pretty fun. And could they do that in a bowling league, a dart league, a cornhole league? Yeah, probably. But they chose axe throwing, they chose Got Wood to do it, and it's fun for them. It's their getaway. They come every Tuesday, even when official leagues aren't. They still come out and throw around and practice and just have fun. But again, they've never been to Worlds. They've never cared about going to a US Open. They've probably never even logged on to their Waddle profile, since I created it back in 2018 for them.
Yeah, but I guess the point that I wanted to make was you are affiliated and you have a select few that do want to be competitive in a
Sure.
sanctioning body, and to the drunk dads and the public, it's completely transparent to them. So, $200 a month or whatever. I mean, you've got an organization, you got a rule set, you've got everything basically packaged up for you. I
Hmm.
I think that if for those that can't figure out a way to make that work and say make 225 on the dedicated throwers that are like watching watching to be on ESPN. They want to be on ESPN. I think that they're the ones paying your bill, and then some every month.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. And um, the ones that do get into the competitive side of the sport, to me, it's worth it.
Hmm.
Even if I went negative on league fees and support of Waddle, it would be worth it
Hmm.
to me to support them in their uh, you know
Pursuit. Yeah.
their their pursuit of a championship, or making worlds and getting on the leaderboard and whatnot. So yeah, definitely. I don't know what that line would be though. If it got up into the three, four, $500 a month,
Mm,
you know, there would definitely be a line that I would have to sit down and reevaluate.
sure.
Uh, is an organized league worth it for what I'm doing and whatnot? But right now, even I'm like you, grandfathered into a low rate since we signed up in 2017. But if it were raised, there would be
Hmm.
a certain point I wouldn't even really scoff at it. I might bitch and groan a little bit because I've been at $50 for the last 6 years and now it's going up. But I wouldn't get too concerned about it to a point. And then once it got to a certain point and whatever I determined that was for myself, then I would sit down and look at it and really look at pros and cons and the ROI or alternatives, whatnot. But uh, right now, it is definitely worth it for those few guys that really get into it. They watch their points, they watch the leaderboards weekly. They care about circuit points and tournaments and marathons and all of that jazz.
Yeah. Well, I think that the fact that the question was even asked or even questioned is more telling than anything else. So, can I think that the league can provide more return for investment, and adding more value to our affiliate ship, if you will. Even the simple things, increasing the amount of merch that's in the shop and giving us a good deal to sell off that merch and be a partner in that. Just some sort of tournament support above and beyond what's given. That might even include marketing support, prize pool support for the major tournaments that we want to run. Seeking out sponsors that will help venues run an effective tournament, and push that down to both the throwers and the venues. There would be no further questions about whether or not there was an ROI on being a Waddle affiliate if all of those things were in place. I'm just throwing that out there as a food for thought. One, I'm appreciative that we have a standardized rule set and this thing is a thing. But can it be done better? I think so.
Oh yeah, sure, sure. And I've said that since day one. Um, I don't know if you know anything about Toro knives or how they came into existence, and then how they got uh, legal within WKTL and all of that. But uh, I've always said that if you're not happy with anything, really, make effective change.
Mhm.
You have the power to do it, and That's been my complaint when people gripe about Waddle is like, well, do something about it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just talk about it and then fall right back in line. Do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's the best of what we have,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to go with that. Many people right now bitching about the new upcoming 2024 rules. Like, okay, you don't like it, then don't do it, or do something different. But this is what is happening, and is it going to be challenging? Obviously, it's going to be, but I think you always have to be moving forward in anything, or you're dying. There's an old cliche in business of, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the analogy of a shark. They got to keep swimming to live. They got to keep moving forward to live, and so they're trying the best that they know how to make effective change and move forward. Is it all 100% correct? No, but I don't know much that really is. But I also know that this is America, and if you don't like it, do something, man. And I'm always a fan of capitalism, and seeking a place in a market that is falling short it's not a crime. I don't know. I felt like I was rambling there and making 15 different points. But
I think it's a perfect way to end the in the comments section
right.
Of the segment. So, Jason, thank you so much for being with us today. We loved hearing about Englewood.
Yeah.
Loved talking to you about this.
Yeah. Look forward to going out there next year.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds awesome.
It does.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring that tent.
Heck yeah. Stake it down.
Well, I think that's it for today's episode. What do you think, Dillon?
I don't have anything else. Do you got anything
No,
else?
just we're getting everything uploaded to anywhere that you like listening to podcasts. We're on YouTube, pushing over to Rumble. We're getting these things uploaded to audio only if you're just driving around. So check us out, like, subscribe, and share. I think that we're going to have some other spicy topics coming up in the very near future.
Yeah, we will.
All right.
But we will see you guys next week.
See you next week.
All right.